Hello and welcome to video 4 of your training. In this video we're going to cover long trades or buy trades, and we're going to give you some real examples of using this system to make a buy trade. To begin with, let's just talk about the rules for long trades. Largely they're the same as they were for short trades, they're just reversed. In this case we need to meet two criteria again, but the criteria is slightly different. We need the price to close above the EMA 60. That's our first criteria. If that is met, then we look for our second criteria, which is the CCI value is above the 100 level. So CCI must be above 100 for our second criteria to be met. And at that point, we can enter our buy trade. And once again, when we enter the trade, we enter a two-lot trade or multiples of two, which I'll cover in video 5. For now, we'll just say two-lot trade. We set our stop loss at either just below the EMA 60 or 200 pips below the entry point. And we're going to choose the stop loss that allows us to risk less. Whichever of those two risks less for us, that's the one we're going to use. And once we're in the trade, we exit the first lot at 200 pips profit. So once the trade has moved in our favor 200 pips, we're going to exit our first lot. And of course, the easiest way to do that is just to set a take profit on one lot that you've traded. And for the second lot, once your first lot is profitable, you move your stop to the break-even point, and then you're going to trail your stop loss at 200 pips for the second lot. And again, if your trading software doesn't allow trailing stops, move the stop loss 200 pips ahead every time the trade moves in your favor by 200 pips. So let's just look at an example here, and then we'll look at some examples on the charts. To begin with, in the highlighted area here, we look for our criteria. The price closes above the EMA 60, and looking here, it has. And the CCI value is higher than 100, so I've marked off the 100 level here. And again, the CCI is above 100, so our criteria is met. We can now enter the trade. And when we enter the trade with two lots. So here's our entry point. And we set our stop loss at either 200 pips back of the entry point or just below the EMA 60. In this case, we set it just below the EMA 60. It was only about a 60 pip stop. The currency pair was in a strong uptrend, but it wasn't moving quickly in this case. And of course, we choose the one that risks less, and in this case, we did. And then once we're in the trade, we take our first lot out at 200 pips, so the trade moves in our favor. We set a take profit level of 200 pips on the first lot. And at that point, when that the exit point is hit for the first lot, we move our stop loss to the break-even point. So we would move our stop loss up for the second lot and set it to break even. And then we're going to trail our stop at 200 pips. So as this trade continues in our favor, the stop that we've set at break-even point is going to move up with the trade and continually be 200 pips behind the price point. And in this case, it moved in our favor for a long while, and we didn't actually stop out till way over here on this chart. Let's take a look at some real examples on the Forex charts in the MetaTrader platform. Okay, so looking at a trade example on the charts here, I'm looking at the British pound US dollar daily chart, and we've got a real trade example here. Taking a look, we need to look for our criteria before entering a long trade. So once again, our criteria is that the price has closed above the EMA 60, and that did so right here. And at the same time, we need to look for our next criteria, which is the CCI level must be above the 100 level. So looking here, that criteria is met as well. So we enter this trade at 1.6071, and we set our stop loss either just behind the EMA 60 or 200 pips behind. In this case, it made more sense to set it just behind the EMA 60. So we had an initial stop loss of 1.5983. That's just over a 100 pip stop. Then we set our take profit. We enter with two lots. We set our take profit on the first lot at 200 pips ahead to 1.6271. And when that first lot was taken out, we move our stop loss to the break-even point for the second lot, and we let the trade ride for as long as it can with a 200 pip trailing stop. And in this case, it did so for about a month's time. And then it turned around and moved against us, and we ended up closing the second lot out at 1.6875. So that's about an 804 pip profit on the second lot, plus the 200 pip profit on our first lot. So 1,004 pips profit on the total trade. A nice profitable trade and an excellent example of a long trade. Let's take a look at one more example. Okay, so taking a look at another example here, this time we're looking at the Euro US dollar daily chart and looking at another trade example. We need to look for our two criteria first of all. We need our price point to close above the EMA 60, and that happened here. And we noticed this trade the next day and the CCI level was above the 100 level. So looking here, here's our 100 line, it's above there. We entered this trade at 1.4823 and we enter with 2 lots. And when we're entering the trade, we need to set a stop loss. And in this case, 200 pips back and just below the EMA 60 are pretty close to the same point. So we used a 200 pip stop for this trade. And we set our take profit level on the first lot to 200 pips ahead at 1.5023. And the trade did continue in our favor. Our first lot was taken out at 1.5023, and at that point we moved the stop loss for our second lot up to the break-even point, and we let the second lot ride in the trade. It continued on for about 2 weeks' time, and it ended up stopping out at 1.5704 a couple of weeks later. So on that trade, on our second lot, we made 881 pips. On our first lot, we made 200 pips. So in about a 2-week trade, we made 1,081 pips on the trade. Another excellent example of a profitable trade using this system. And by now you should have a good idea of how to make both short and long trades using this Forex system. So now that we've covered a couple examples of short trades and a couple of examples of long trades, you should move on to video 5 to learn about the right time frames, currency pairs, and some advanced ideas with this Forex system. And then once you've finished watching that video, make sure you practice using the system for a while. You can practice it using a demo account for a couple of months would be an easy way to do it. Or if you want to get started faster, you can also just practice looking for the signals using historical data on your charts. Practicing is important though, so watch video 5 and then take the time to practice your trades.